The following short film depicts the unexpected love derived from two completely polar opposite animals, a moose and a duck. These two lovebirds meet one sunny day while strolling in a field of flowers. Upon meeting, they immediately fall in love, despite their knowledge of historically not being good matches for each other. It means to rebel against stereotypes, they decide to go on a first date, a movie premiere. But this just isn't any movie premiere. This is Prancer's first movie premiere. Prancer is the moose. She invited Mr. Quackers, the duck, to accompany her down the red carpet with all the cameras to announce their official status as a couple. Of course, Mr. Quackers is eager to get to know her and is honored to be her guest. They are wheeled to the show in fashion, on a wheelbarrow, naturally, and they arrive at the show. I can't believe this is my first movie premiere.
I know, I'm so proud of you. Thank you for taking me along.
Anytime. I wouldn't want anyone else by my side. And anyways, this beats any first dates I've ever had. I mean, I don't know about you.
Smile!
I can totally agree with you there. Quack.
Moose noise.
How did you even get the offer to be in this movie? What do they like about you?
Oh, let me tell you the story real quick. Basically, they were so fascinated by my volume and my intricate shape that they just had to feature me in their movie.
No way, I had a modeling agency reach out to me for the same thing.
I find that so amusing. I'd love to hear all about it. But oh, we're here. Let's go get some popcorn first. Let me handle it.
So what were you saying?
Oh yeah, tell me about your volume.
Well, I took the Raymond sums of all parts of my body and just put them together.
How many parts did you have?
You wouldn't believe it.
Really?
5.
Oh my goodness. 5 parts? I only had 4.
And I advertised that on my modeling portfolio, and the agency was very interested in me because of it. How about you?
That's crazy. You know, my story is actually pretty much the same, but I did it in a slightly different way. I had 4 parts to mine.
Well, I'm better.
Okay, anyways, I had 4 parts, and I used Raymond sums for one of them, and I integrated 2 of them, and then for the other one, well, also integrated that one. I had to remember. But anyways, I did all of that, and it took me a very long time. But then I added it to my resume for acting, and the directors loved it, and that's how I got played to be in this role. Oh, look, that's me!
Very nice.
You're actually standing here in my living room, Eddie. Never thought the day would come.
Yeah, I'm excited about it too.
Oh no! Oh no! Get down!
The cat's coming!
You're gonna get eaten!
Run!
Dead noise.
Sad noise.
The end.
Hi, so this is Mr. Quackers. You can say that he's a pretty good-looking guy. He's a model, so he's doing something right. He's a pretty funny guy too. As you can see, he is dating a movie star, so that's pretty cool. And he really enjoys his time just hanging out with friends, you know, things like that. And his family, you could say. But mostly, he just loves to enjoy life. Go for a swim, you know, go down the road for a drive. That's really all.
This here is Prancer, and she's obviously a movie star. She was casted to be a role in the very comical, very famous, very well-known Christmas movie called National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, and she was very proud of herself for taking this role because this movie was released a long time ago and is still being played in family households today. So before she became famous, you know, she enjoyed taking long walks by the marsh, eating some leaves, some sticks, you know, just enjoying her time to herself. She was a very lone moose. She was independent, you know, she didn't really have many friends, nor did she really want to have friends because she just liked doing her own thing. Until she met Mr. Quacker. He basically swept her off her hooves. Anyways, so now Prancer, she spends most of her days living in homes, family homes, and being an object to keep liquids in to drink out of, a cup, because that was her original design, and until she got cast into the movie, no one noticed her very unique design. So now she's a cup for eggnog, soda, water, you know, whatever the family preference is. But she's also eager to see what other roles she'll be cast in the future.
To find the volume of Mr. Quacker's, I split them up into different parts. First, there was the base, which was pretty simple. I didn't really have to use calculus that much because it is just a rectangular prism, so I just did the base times width times height. But then for the main part of the duck, I split it off in different parts. So first, there was the body, which I pretty much said from here to here. And for this, I used rhyme and sums, specifically RRAM. And I split it up into 9 different parts because it's 9 centimeters across. And then I did the head, which is just from like the beak up. And then I did that in like half a centimeter increments. And so I did it in 11 different parts. Then was the tail, which was pretty much from where the body ended right here out, and I did it sideways. And for this one I did LRAM because it fit better, and I also did that in 11 different parts. And next was the chest, which was below the neck and in front of the body, and I also did that one sideways just because it fit better using RRAM. And I used this in also 11 different parts in half a centimeter increments. And then lastly was the neck, and I saw this was mostly equivalent to being a parallelogram. So I just took the height times the width of the neck, and then I just did the same thing with the width to find the volume.
To find the volume of Prancer here, I divided her up into 4 different parts. I have the head, the stand/bottom, the nose, and then the antlers. So first with the head, I found an equation. This equation here for that graph by plotting points based on the height, technically the height, or I should say the width, and then the height here. And I plotted those, I wrote them all down, then I put them in my calculator, and then I derived an equation using a sine equation from that. And then from there, I rotated around the x-axis and used finite and did the entire process to come out with 188 cubed centimeters. So the next part, which was a little bit easier, not as complicated of an equation for that part, if you look at all those numbers, I did the same thing for the bottom where I plotted points and I found an equation based off of this line here. And I did the same thing where I rotated around the x-axis and found the volume of it. And I got about 15 centimeters cubed for that. And then for the nose, I was looking at it and realized it was just about a semicircle. So what I did there was found the radius, made the equation, plotted it. I didn't plot it there, I just found the equation and and I rotated around the x-axis. I just rotated that first quadrant there around the x-axis and integrated it, found the volume using finint, got about 11 centimeters cubed there, and then lastly for the antlers, I did not know what to do about these at first, but eventually I just decided to do Raman sums, so I found the width of them, and then I did intervals of a ½ centimeter along it. I even marked it with a little Sharpie in the beginning, and I just measured the height as I went along, and I added all of those up, did the entire calculations, and I got about 16.5 centimeters cubed. So all of that together equals about 231.2117 centimeters cubed.
The exact volume of the duck, I filled up a Home Depot bucket with water and calculated the volume of the water in the bucket. I then pushed this duck into that water and calculated the height difference between the before and after. And then I calculated the displacement, and the exact volume came out to be 594.467 centimeters cubed, and I calculated it to be 660.02 centimeters cubed, so the difference was 65.553 centimeters cubed.
In order to find the actual volume of Prancer here, I submerged her in water. So before submerging her in water, it was a cylinder glass container, and I calculated the volume of it and measured the height, and then I submerged her after covering the top so she wouldn't just sink, which was kind of hard to figure out at first. Insert picture right here. Took a while to figure that out. And after that, I measured the height after I submerged her and calculated the change in displacement, and I also took into account for how much volume the tape took up. So for that, I got about 279.9159 cubed centimeters, which is about